You've probably felt it, that quiet, almost unexplainable distance between who you used to be and who you are becoming, like something inside you has shifted without asking for permission. The things that once excited you don't feel the same anymore, conversations feel different, and even your own thoughts seem unfamiliar at times, making you wonder if something is wrong with you. But what's really happening isn't something breaking, it's something transforming. You are outgrowing a version of yourself that was never meant to be permanent, and growth doesn't always feel like progress, it often feels like confusion, like being stuck between who you were and who you're becoming. Letting go of old habits, mindsets, and emotional patterns can feel like loss because even the things that limit us feel safe when they're familiar, but you're not losing yourself, you're shedding what was never truly you. And yes, it can feel lonely, because not everyone will understand this new version of you, some will expect you to stay the same, and when you don't, distance naturally appears, but that distance isn't rejection, it's realignment. So if you've been feeling different, disconnected, or unsure, understand this clearly, you are not broken, you are evolving, and the discomfort you feel is simply the sign that you're stepping into a deeper, more authentic version of yourself, and that's exactly where you're meant to be. There comes a moment in this journey where everything feels uncertain, like you're standing in the middle of two lives, no longer connected to your past but not fully grounded in your future either, and that space in between can feel confusing, heavy, and even a little lonely. You start to notice that your reactions are changing, your tolerance is different, and the things you once accepted so easily now feel misaligned with who you are becoming. It's not that you're trying to change, it's that change is happening within you naturally, quietly reshaping your thoughts, your emotions, and your perspective on everything around you. And this in-between phase can feel uncomfortable because there's no clear direction, no solid identity to hold on to, just a deep inner shift that you can't fully explain to anyone else. You may find yourself pulling away from certain people, certain environments, even certain versions of yourself, not out of ego, but because something inside you no longer resonates the same way. And that can make you question everything, your choices, your path, even your sense of self. But this phase is not meant to be understood instantly, it's meant to be experienced. It's a transition, a quiet recalibration where your inner world is aligning with a deeper truth, even if your outer world hasn't caught up yet. So don't rush this part, don't force clarity where it hasn't naturally formed yet, because this space you're in right now is not emptiness, it's preparation. You are slowly becoming someone new, and before that new version fully emerges, the old one has to gently fade away, and that process, it takes time. There's a quiet kind of pain that comes with growth, the kind that doesn't always show on the surface but is deeply felt within, especially when you begin to let go of parts of your life that once felt like home. It's not easy to release what you've been attached to, even if you know it no longer aligns with who you are becoming, because those attachments carry memories, emotions, and a sense of identity that once defined you. And when those things start to fade, it can feel like you're losing pieces of yourself, like something important is slipping away. But the truth is, you're not losing anything real, you're releasing what has already served its purpose. Growth asks you to trust that what you're leaving behind is not meant to go where you're headed, even if your heart still feels connected to it. This is why it feels heavy sometimes, because you're learning to detach not just from people or situations, but from versions of yourself that once felt safe. And even though it hurts, there is a quiet strength building within you every time you choose to move forward instead of holding on. You are not becoming empty, you are making space, and that space will eventually be filled with something more aligned, more peaceful, and more true to who you really are. There was a time when everything in your life felt familiar, predictable, and almost comfortable, even if it wasn't perfect, at least it made sense. But as you began to change, that comfort slowly started to disappear. You found yourself sitting in the same places, talking to the same people, living the same routines, yet something felt different inside you. It was as if the world around you stayed the same, but you didn't. One evening, you sat alone, surrounded by noise but feeling completely disconnected, realizing that you couldn't go back to who you used to be, but you also didn't fully know who you were becoming. And in that moment, the loneliness felt real, not because you had no one, but because no one truly understood the shift happening within you. But what you didn't realize then was that this loneliness wasn't there to break you, it was there to guide you inward, to help you build a deeper connection with yourself. Because sometimes, before life brings the right people, the right clarity, and the right direction, it first brings you into solitude, so you can finally hear your own voice without the noise of everything else. There comes a deeply emotional phase in your journey where you begin to realize that the very things that once felt like home, people, places, habits, even your own patterns of thinking, no longer hold the same meaning they once did, and that realization can feel incredibly heavy. It's not sudden, it's not loud, it's slow and almost unnoticeable at first, like a quiet detachment that grows stronger over time. You start to feel like you don't fully belong where you once did, like you're present physically but something inside you has already moved on, and that creates a strange kind of discomfort because your outer world hasn't changed yet, but your inner world has completely shifted. You may try to hold on, to reconnect, to force yourself to feel the same way again, but no matter how hard you try, it doesn't feel authentic anymore. And that's where the confusion begins, because you're not rejecting your past, you're simply evolving beyond it. But evolution can feel like betrayal, to others and even to yourself, because it asks you to release what once defined you. You might feel guilt for changing, for pulling away, for not being who people expect you to be anymore, but growth doesn't ask for permission, it happens when you're ready, not when others are comfortable with it. And the truth is, you're not losing your place, you're outgrowing it. You're being prepared for a space, a life, and a version of yourself that aligns more deeply with who you are becoming. Even if it feels like everything familiar is slipping away, trust that this detachment is not emptiness, it's redirection, it's life gently moving you towards something that fits you better, even if you can't fully see it yet. One of the most unsettling parts of transformation is the quiet fear that comes with it, the fear that one day you might not even recognize yourself anymore, that the person you're becoming feels so different from who you used to be that it almost feels like losing your identity completely. And this fear doesn't always come as panic, sometimes it shows up as overthinking, as questioning your decisions, as wondering if you're changing too much or too fast. You begin to notice that your reactions are different, your priorities have shifted, and the things you once tolerated now feel impossible to accept, and instead of seeing this as growth, a part of you starts to wonder if you're drifting too far away from who you were. But what you don't realize in those moments is that you were never meant to stay the same. The version of you that you're afraid of losing was only a chapter, not the entire story. And holding on to that version out of fear will only keep you stuck in a place you've already outgrown. Yes, it feels unfamiliar, yes, it feels uncertain, and yes, it can feel like you're stepping into something you don't fully understand yet, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. It means you're expanding. You're stepping into a deeper awareness of yourself, one that isn't based on old patterns or past identities, but on something more real, more intentional. So instead of fearing the person you're becoming, try to meet them with curiosity, with openness, with trust. Because this new version of you isn't here to replace who you were, it's here to continue the story in a way that's more aligned, more honest, and more true to who you were always meant to be. There's a phase in your journey where everything starts to feel slower than you expected, almost like life itself has pressed pause while you're still trying to move forward, and that stillness can be incredibly frustrating because a part of you wants answers, progress, clarity, something to hold on to that proves you're not just stuck. You look around and it seems like everyone else is moving ahead, building, achieving, becoming, while you feel like you're in this quiet, invisible transition that no one else can see. And in that silence, your mind begins to question everything, your path, your timing, your purpose, making you wonder if you've somehow fallen behind. But what feels like slowness is not delay, it's depth. Life is not rushing you right now because it's rebuilding you in ways that can't be seen externally. The growth happening within you is not meant to be loud or obvious, it's meant to be stable, real, and lasting. And that takes time. This phase is teaching you patience, trust, and the ability to exist without constant validation or visible progress. It's asking you to believe in what you cannot yet see, to stay grounded even when nothing around you feels certain. Because sometimes, the most important transformations don't look like movement at all, they look like stillness. And in that stillness, something powerful is taking shape, something that will eventually move you forward in ways that feel effortless compared to the struggle you're feeling now. There comes a quiet, defining moment in this journey where you realize that going back is no longer an option, even if a part of you still wants to. It might happen in the middle of an ordinary day, in a familiar place, surrounded by familiar people, but something inside you suddenly feels different. You notice how conversations no longer hold your attention the same way, how the things that once mattered deeply now feel distant, almost irrelevant. And in that moment, it hits you, not with noise, but with clarity, that you've changed in a way that can't be undone. You try, even if just for a second, to reconnect with the old version of yourself, to feel what you used to feel, to see things the way you once did, but it doesn't work anymore. It's like trying to fit into a space that no longer holds you. And that realization brings a mix of emotions, sadness, acceptance, even a little fear, because moving forward means fully letting go of what's behind you. But what you don't see in that moment is that this isn't an ending, it's a turning point. It's the exact moment where your growth becomes undeniable, where your path becomes irreversible in the most beautiful way. Because even though you can't go back, you're not meant to. You're meant to move forward, carrying the lessons, the memories, and the strength you've gained, into a version of life that is waiting for you to fully step into it. At some point in this journey, you begin to realize that clarity is not something you're always going to have, and that can feel deeply unsettling at first because you've been taught to seek certainty, direction, and clear answers before taking a step forward. But transformation doesn't work that way. It asks you to walk into the unknown without guarantees, without a full picture, and without the comfort of knowing exactly where everything is leading. And that's where the real challenge begins, not in changing, but in trusting. Trusting that even when things don't make sense, they are still unfolding in your favor. Trusting that even when you feel lost, you are still being guided. And slowly, something within you starts to shift. You stop needing to control every outcome, you stop forcing clarity, and you begin to accept that not knowing is part of the process. It doesn't mean you're off track, it means you're expanding beyond what you used to understand. The unknown stops feeling like something to fear and starts feeling like a space of possibility, a place where new versions of you can emerge without limitations. And in that acceptance, you find a different kind of peace, not the peace that comes from having all the answers, but the peace that comes from trusting yourself enough to move forward without them. Because the truth is, you don't need to see the entire path to keep walking, you just need to believe that each step you're taking is leading you somewhere meaningful, even if you can't fully see it yet. By now, you may still not have everything figured out, and that's okay, because this journey was never about having all the answers, it was about becoming someone who no longer needs them to feel whole. You've moved through confusion, detachment, loneliness, and uncertainty, and even though parts of it felt heavy, every step has been shaping you into someone stronger, more aware, and more aligned with your truth. You are no longer the person you used to be, and you're still in the process of becoming who you're meant to be, and that in-between space is not something to rush or escape, it's something to honor. Because this is where your depth comes from, this is where your awareness expands, and this is where you begin to understand yourself on a level you never did before. You don't need to prove your growth to anyone, you don't need validation for the changes you've gone through, and you don't need to have a perfect vision of your future to know that you're moving in the right direction. The fact that you're evolving, that you're questioning, that you're becoming more conscious of who you are, that alone is enough. So instead of doubting where you are, take a moment to recognize how far you've come, even if it doesn't look the way you expected. Because this version of you, the one that is still unfolding, still learning, still growing, this version is not incomplete. This version is in progress. And that is not something to fix, it's something to embrace.